start streaming and let's see if things can work out. Okay, now we're good to go. Alrighty, maybe it was just software issues. Okay, alright, looks like we're all good to go now. Okay. Alrighty guys, sorry for the technical difficulties. The OBS just stopped registering the feed back from my computer, so I think we're all good to go now. So welcome back to MTV TA. I'm your guys' host, Trent Manager. All my returning patrons, welcome. All my new patrons, of course, really glad to have you guys here. Thank you guys so much for carving out this time on your Tuesday to be here. Hope you guys have had a great week. So we got some news to cover in the space today. Got lots of good news today, covering from Solana, BTC Network. Going to go over to El Salvador, give a check-in on them. Some SkyBridge accelerations into crypto partnerships. A lot of crypto partnerships that we've been seeing over the past couple weeks, along with some TA charts at the end, and kind of just give an overall sentiment, kind of just see where we are, on this beautiful Tuesday. We covered on Monday, for all my patrons who remember, I did a Monday video on TA of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and also just kind of a sense of where I feel that we are, and also where I think we, are going long term, and kind of just feel where we are at the market sentiment. We explained that September is a very, very usually bearish month. We went over charts and so on. So if that's something you want to see, definitely consider joining the Patreon for those exclusive like TA videos versus the kind of light overview we do here. So awesome, guys. And also just the Patreon, just real quick overview, just kind of give you the setup. This is what some you're going to get, just kind of a quick preview for those who are, looking to possibly get into that. So other than that, guys, let's get right into it and see what we got first for today. So first off, I wanted to go over the Solana-based dev ecosystem for SolRaiser. Raised about $1.5 million for developers working on the Solana ecosystem. So for anyone who kind of been paying attention, Solana's just definitely gained some traction, a lot in a way. I think they're now 8th or 6th largest cryptocurrency in the world. So the overall view of Solana, for those who maybe don't know, background of Solana, Sam Backman, the owner of FTX trading platform, also very early crypto adopter, Forbes, billionaire in terms of Forbes for the crypto space, along with the Winklevoss twins. This is his project. So Solana kind of aims to exactly cater to what Ethereum is doing, and also what Cardano is aiming to do as well, is utilizing that ecosystem to take market share away from Ethereum. And coming from a developer myself, in terms of the Ethereum ecosystem, I have no problem with that. I'm a big believer, and I get these questions a lot, is, hey, where would you start? Do you enjoy Solana? Do you enjoy Cardano? Personally, I don't own any Solana. That is the one thing I kind of wish I would have, bought into a little bit earlier, but still not too late. I've been looking at some good entries for Solana as well, kind of just examining the market and see how things kind of unfold. But getting back to the article, they are really bringing a lot of these developers together to help the ecosystem, as they've had such an influx of individuals, an influx of projects such as NFTs, other dApp developments, and other serious ecosystem upgrades that are making it a very serious competitor moving forward. So I know the first NFT collection was dropped on Solana like a couple days ago, but this morning I was reading that they did have a little bit of a hiccup in terms of some scalability and some other not security issues, but some other just overall, I guess what's the right word, little bugs that with the volume that they expected, they just didn't have the ties that they thought they did in terms. Nothing critical at all. It was just a matter of making the user experience as best as it could be. As it's very noticeable that Ethereum is known for being the rich man's ecosystem versus those early adopters, since the fees are so high. But Solana, Cardano, and a lot of these other ecosystems have a lot lower fees and cater more to the basic user. So where this is going, $1.5 million, that's not anything light in terms of fundraising, especially for developers who are coming over to develop on Solana. SolRaiser, this is something I'm probably going to check out and probably get my hands dirty with and see if this is something that is worth my time. And I definitely believe it is, because I've had a lot of other coworkers and developers come to me and ask some questions and ask if this is something I was doing. So definitely something to keep your eye out for Solana. Solana's coming up in terms of what they are coming to offer, and definitely just keep your eye out on them for sure. That's something I will as well. Also going over to SkyBridge accelerates its move into crypto with blockchain partnership. So SkyBridge captains Anthony Scaramucci is stepping up in his firm's move into the cryptocurrency world. The first team is building the trading platform NAX to raise $250 million for a fund that will be known as UNLOX. So I didn't know too much about this, so I didn't know what Anthony actually did. So I guess he's a big financial entrepreneur, and I think what else did he have in there? I think those were his two mains in terms of getting to where he is today. So we had seen Anthony on the channel here and there. He's more on CNBC Squawk Box, and he talks back and forth. He's known for being a very, very conservative on his cryptocurrency. So that's why I was kind of really, I was kind of shocked when he came out and said this. But I mean, there's always things working in the background. Michael Saylor today also bought like 6,000 more Bitcoin or something like that. So it's absolutely crazy. But in terms of how I feel with the market sentiment and where we are right now, we know September is historically a very month, and this is usually give really good accumulation time. And as we continue to move in the year, if you guys know, like we've talked about so many times, and how the cycle goes is that the closer we get to Christmas is when things really start to heat up, and we see October really starting to reflect that towards the end of October as well. So really right now, how I feel in terms of the overall market sentiment, especially when I see stuff like this, 3.5 trillion and 250 million here and there, just massive players moving around their cards in the space to make sure that they're poised for the right position. It gives me some certainty. I mean, I never really fall out of certainty too much in this space at all, just because I'm here for 2, 4, 6, probably indefinitely. I don't plan to go anywhere, unless things change severely. But especially right now, Anthony is definitely gearing up for something that is going to benefit him and his company in terms of the trading platforms. I know we've seen statistics about traders, young millennials, even young Gen Zers as well, who've been gravitating towards crypto trading and so on. And I know it has like that degenerate kind of background to it, but there are some safe trading strategies, and that's something that I've been really working on in this channel to really precise and give the best information I can, so when that does come, I'm able to share that. So here's a short clip. I'm not going to play all of it. I'm trying to remember the exact term. I think it was at about a minute 26, and we're going to go to about 2 minutes, so nothing long.
Andrew, and Joe's really not going to like this. I personally don't like it, but you're going to end up with a VAT in the United States because you've got such large black market activity now, and you've got so many people with a low personnel number at the IRS. You've got a lot of people that are evading taxes. That's one of the ways to capture those people is through a value-added tax. So I do think they get it done.
Anthony, I was actually thinking after, sad to say, I was home thinking about the conversation I had with Andrew yesterday. I just realized that. So I was thinking about...
Was that the 8th day of the week, Joe? Was that the 8th day of the week?
Anyway, trying to think of how do we get at the trillionaires, and there aren't quite trillionaires yet. You're not a trillionaire yet, are you, Anthony? You're close, but
I am a trillionaire, but it's only in Zimbabwe, Joe.
Yeah, it's in
the only place I'm a trillionaire.
If these guys, instead of the wealth tax, what about some type of like you're saying, some type of consumption thing? If they can't spend their money, then they're really, if they can't buy the big mega.
That's what I thought was also interesting. They go after the trillionaire, but there aren't really any trillionaires. But you kind of notice how the pyramid kind of starts. So right now, there's tons of news this morning. I just got off the phone with a good buddy of mine, and I don't know if you haven't seen the I never try to bring too many politics in here, but it's good to know because that's how the market sentiment is driven, especially by party and also by news and anticipation. So I know Biden today had he made a slight announcement. I don't know how true it was. I did some research, and it was multiple news outlets that they were trying to, just like sending over $10,000, the IRS has to flag that. I believe every transaction over 600, they were trying to flag as well, which is kind of crazy because most car payments, most people's rent, most people's major bills are over $600. So that's where things didn't really make sense to me. Kind of off topic, but it was funny how that kind of catered into what we were talking about right now in terms of the Congress and what they want to do. And as we keep developing, you guys know we're in a pretty big battle right now in terms of SEC United States really against fintech and cryptocurrency as a whole. The fintech really just stepped in there as a lot of these fintech companies such as PayPal, Venmo, same people, but a lot of those fintech companies are now starting to get targeted by the SEC for their involvement with cryptocurrency. So PayPal hasn't taken a hit yet at all, but they're making the ground known that this is what happens when you don't comply, but then also we talked about how they're not giving us the baselines to comply. So it's a very, very odd situation and very weird time we're in right now in terms of, the little guy versus the big guy. And as of right now, it's just important to, kind of swim with them. And then, when the time comes, we can kind of branch off and continue to do what we need to do. But right now, we kind of got to stick to these big guys and, kind of not bow down, but, just be on good behavior. You can be sneaky and have good behavior. It's just a matter of if you get caught or not. So not encouraging anything bad, but in terms of just keeping your focuses level-headed and not making a big commotion, and just always being respectful in terms of business practices. So other than that, guys, we're going to move over into our Lightning adoption for Bitcoin using in El Salvador. So the usage in El Salvador for the Bitcoin Lightning Network, and for those who don't know what that is one of the not consensus upgrades, one of the added layers of layer 2 for Bitcoin sending a transaction. So we know that if you've ever sent Bitcoin before, it's pretty slow. It's not something that is fast and is instant. But the benefit of that, of course, as we know, is that no one can tell you what to do, how to send it, and it's uncensorable. So the importance of the Lightning Network coming into here and the base layer scaling solution for Bitcoin is definitely, we saw in a video with Starbucks and McDonald's people, and this was I think this was last week on Thursday, that we talked about how the whole chip in your card, putting that in, having that cycle and then come out. I personally come from experience that from what I timed it in terms of the Bitcoin Lightning Network to my card payment processor in terms of Visa, plugging that into the chip at the grocery store, it was the Lightning Network was superbly faster. So it really does depend on the processing of your bank and then the grocery store and then back and forth and then so on and so on. You take out that middleman, and then the Lightning Network can really take care of a lot of implementations that I think the traditional finance system is still lacking in terms of the 1, 2, 3, 4 step instead of this the 1, 2, 3 step. That's just my personal opinion, but we see it right now here even in this graph. So the mainnet of the sum channels of how the state of Lightning Network is going for the mainnet. Of course, things have not been perfect in El Salvador. There have been some hiccups, like we talked about, some different code errors from the wallets, and some very small things that possibly could be a little annoying. But we knew that going into this wouldn't be something that would be perfect off the bat. This is exactly what growth and this is exactly what growth needs. So, we're going to need to make hiccups, and we're going to need to experience some of these small things firsthand to understand and see how we can, move better moving forward. So, but awesome news in other words, El Salvador. Other than that, I think things are going pretty well. We're going to see some hiccups in the future. So, this isn't anything perfect, and things are going to be all glitter and shine. The spotlight is still on them and seeing how this thing, really rolls out and how beneficial this is going to be for countries and neighboring nations, etc. So, and then also going over to Ethereum's mining hash makes a new all-time high. That was on Sunday, so just 2 days ago. They made a new all-time high for hash mining. So we saw big correction in terms of the hash mining rate. So, miners and so on, really, unloading some of their Ethereum, whether that be in staking or, moving it around and, not really holding it in terms of this sense right now. So that could be a multiple reasons. So, we've seen some miners offline, I guess, in a sense. Some mining pools really cooling down. I mean, we even go over to the amount of ETH burned, like we check over so often for the 1559 implementation. So we're seeing a bit of a shift right now, and I like I said earlier, I see us really in a very, I'm feeling very confident where we're at right now. I think this is just completely fine where we're sitting at, like price action wise and market sentiment. It seems like September, like there hasn't really been a lot of major negative news at all. I mean, in a sense, it seems like everything's very flatlined. That's what it seems like. It seems like, we're covering really good stories. We're seeing really good things that's going on in the news. And I know people, don't always turn to the news for accurate information. And I can agree with that. The media can be very, very shifted and back and forth. But in terms of why we cover the news here, it's just to give not only critical ideas for yourself, but also, to open up doors. So for your own research and how you can utilize that in your life. So, I can't sit here and say all media is bad, because I take a lot of this media in consideration into my work and some of my investments after I do my own personal research. So it definitely is a win in terms of just where where to look, in that sense. So, but in terms of where we sit right now for Ethereum, and we're going to get to the technicals at the end here, is Ethereum's looking a little bit better than Bitcoin in terms of the charts. I did notice that, but especially in terms of use case and stability right now, Ethereum is poised, looking very, very good for higher levels moving forward. So, but other than the hash mining rate, that doesn't worry me too much. That honestly just gives the incentive that people are holding a lot. That really is the incentive with Ethereum. It's about not only from the gas prices, but also just from the APY you can receive and staking and so on. If that's something that you guys do, or if you guys want to do, I do personally stake a good amount of Ethereum just for the fact of I believe in the project long term, and I'm not going anywhere in terms of anything short term. So I've got some time to burn, no pun intended, but I've got some time to burn in terms of moving forward. So. Most definitely. So I thought this was really cool. These last two are kind of not this last one, but they were both from Force. But this first one I thought was really, really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a drone racing league, like actually looked at drone racing, like a video or anything along those lines. The FPV, the first person viewers, they are awesome. Like they are some of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. Like I hope one day I'm able to be that good at something like that. Like I have a DJI Phantom, but nothing like what they're doing. So the 5-year deal worth $100 million. Drone racing league partners with blockchain platform Algorand and reporting 100 million. So Algorand's really been on it recently. They've had a lot of crazy sponsorships. They have now this. They had I think Doja Cat, I think a couple weeks ago or like last week. They had another one before that was pretty heavy as well. So they are just slinging out these partnerships in terms of getting big players and big leagues to not only have their advertisements up, but of course funding a lot of their background activities in terms of their development team, their project, not only but their partnerships with their companies such as the drone racing, but really giving these guys the light of day that a lot of other people weren't getting. So that's where also I think a lot of these crypto companies excel, like FTX and LedgerX. A lot of these guys excel by attacking medium to high end profitable sectors moving forward. So what you've noticed a lot is that we're getting a lot of gaming, we're getting a lot of drone racing, we're getting a lot of AI, we're getting a lot of play to earn, we're getting a lot of these somewhat profitable right now, but overall in the long term moving forward, really, really good. In the money calls, basically. Like they are betting right now that this is going to be larger moving forward, and that's a really good bet to hedge on. Like drone racing, robotics, cryptocurrencies, betting on gaming, sport, professional sports, gaming sports. Like all these sectors are something that are poised to move forward very, very large, to be very, very large moving forward. I don't know why I'm stumbling over my words right now, but also covering over that, that was more of a short one. I didn't really get too deep into that, but really just kind of, it's really long. But if that's something you guys want to watch, they had a really dope video on it in terms of going over team members and what they wanted to do with NFTs. And I know Dapper Labs is in here too. The Dapper Labs is people who do the NBA Top Shot. There's just a lot going on behind the scenes in terms of partnerships and how these guys are getting things done moving forward. So, and also going over to Google takes a giant step towards powering blockchain with these Web 3.0. We haven't talked about Web 3.0 too much, but we have covered it here and there. But Google, AWS, and a lot of these large enterprises, they're not stupid. They understand that these things are coming, and they're just really trying to get a grip of it and really implement the best product they can. But this summer, we saw DeFi summer really take off. Grab a really good amount of market share. DeFi really right now doesn't seem to be making headlines right now, even though it is. It's making headlines, but in terms of the NFTs and a lot of other sectors right now are kind of engulfing the whole DeFi sector currently right now, even though Dapper Labs, NFTs, a lot of these guys are made possible by DeFi. That's how you're paying for a lot of these NFTs, not all of them, but most of them. That's what you got, and that's what you guys are using to pay for. So that's the stability growth of Google. We already know Google isn't going absolutely anywhere, but them really switching over to this sector and kind of saying, hey, this is what we see, this is what we like, this is what we don't like, this is what we're going to be developing and working on. And it like we've talked about it earlier in the year as well, is that we don't need everybody in the world to just be here. We don't need everybody in the world to own crypto or do blockchain or be developers. No, that's not it. We just needed large enough players, such as Google, some hedge funds, people around the world, to really see the technology and cater towards it, to better their lives and, business, supply chain, user management, whatever that may be. So, it's a very, I think that's very confused, is that it kind of seems like a pushy narrative. Like, oh man, everything's got to be on blockchain. No, absolutely not. Because there are some things that just don't work. There's some things that just don't work on blockchain yet, and that's okay. It's just a matter of having, implementations in your business. Maybe 5% is run on, some sort of Hyperledger server, or, 30%, or maybe even 50%. We know that a lot of things are kind of coming out of the mud in terms of, getting better scalability, better user interfaces. Like, we're growing every single quarter, every single day. There are new and better ways and solutions that are coming out to solve some things to make the user experience better. So really good to keep in that. So this was actually a really good one. I thought this was freaking awesome. I'm going to put it on 2x speed because it's kind of long, and I don't feel like you guys need to, sit through and watch this. So this is the most searched technology by number of global monthly search queries from 2017 to 2021, and it goes over just kind of the tech behind it. So if you guys actually want to see this, it's actually pretty crazy. It's just on. I might have to speed this up a little bit. Oh, I guess 2x is only how it goes. Yeah, I didn't know how popular. I mean, I forgot virtual reality came around 2018, and I mean, super popular. I mean, I love VR. VR stuff is so sick. Augmented reality, super dope. 5G, that's another big one. We also forget about cloud computing, Internet of Things, big data, 3D printing. Remember 3D printing coming real hot, and around this time for sure. But robotics, nothing has got anything in robotics. Engineers will forever be some of the top people in the world for this. 2019, yeah, you noticed some bear winter. That's when, bear winter was happening. It's when blockchain really wasn't, dropping a little bit. 2019, popped back up. It's crazy. Quantum computing. Oh, interesting. March 2020. Yep. Interesting. I thought big data kind of made its way back up. I've watched this a couple times, but I always try to critically think on this stuff. Kind of remember, like, in the timeline where, like, I was and what was going on kind of in that year in terms of, because you guys remember VR really popped off in, like, 2018, and then 2020 came around, and it was absolutely crazy. Blockchain making its way back up, and then cloud computing, yep, still very relevant. Cybersecurity, right? I was always surprised cybersecurity wasn't higher. That was always really the best thing. So, I mean, that's where we kind of sat at. So, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was super cool. I'm just a really weird nerd about that type of stuff. But awesome, guys. So we're gonna wrap up with the charts here real quick, and we're gonna take a look about where we are right now and kind of just see how the market sentiment is kind of poising up. We don't really change these charts at all a lot. So we just had some. These were from a while ago. I think we just keep them there kind of just for relevance and see. When in doubt, zoom out. So here we go. We're sitting below our 20-week, riding our 50-week EMA. This is one thing I do want to say is that on our weekly, we definitely don't want to be closing below our 20-week SMA line, and that's that red line right here. We definitely don't want to be closing above the 50-week down here, but we are really riding between this 20-week and 50-week here, which is, there is nothing wrong with that at all, but we definitely just don't want to see weeklies closing before that. And before I go any further, this is something I also want to put on the table and kind of make aware before we continue to move forward. So this is the weekly candle. So we're going to count how many weeks we had in a row from July of 2021. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly candle closes in a row of green. And also, if we go to the monthly, before we even get too ahead of ourselves, let's go back to the monthly and see how many monthly candles we had in a row for green. So that means you were, however much percentage it was up, this is what we had in the month. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6 months in a row of monthly candle closes, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 in a row of weekly candle closes for that. So just for reference, I like to throw it out there that this is an asset class that moves very, very quickly. And, in terms of returns and how, things can change on sentiment, this is exactly, how it can happen. So, in terms of, I try to give Bitcoin some slack. Like, that's pretty nuts. And if you go look at S&P, any other market returns, any other assets, like, you're just not getting this type of return in this short amount of time. Like, that would take S&P 15 years, 20 years, to get those type of returns, even remotely baseline close to what we're getting right now. So that's just something I kind of want to stretch out of the way. So like I said, we don't want to really see us closing below this 20-week SMA. That would kind of just, the 20-week is really the holder as to, what the bull market entails. So even if we go to indicators, we can pull up the bull market support band and see if we are, let's see, Bitcoin bulls up, market support band. Ooh, whoops. Okay, I don't know why I don't have enough. Whatever. We covered it in our last one, but I believe I looked yesterday. We're above our bull market support band, so that's okay. Ethereum looks a lot better in terms of markets. I'm sorry, excuse me, in forms of technicals. So we saw the largest, a really crazy run in terms of daily candles. This was absolutely ridiculous. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was pretty nuts. And also just in terms of sentiment, how we're looking, we are same thing. We're riding the exact same lines right now. And the way I look at it with both of these is that this is just really good DCA time. So this is a lot of good dollar cost averaging. In terms of fair value, I think I don't know if I don't know what the math calculation on that, but in terms of fair value, I think they were talking about, what is a fair value for Bitcoin? And, the crazy thing is we could be setting up levels for, possibly when we do come back down in terms of our bull market being over, these could be some of the baseline levels that we could be sitting at for the lowest points. We could possibly, never see lows of, $10,000 Bitcoin again, or, even, like $1,000 Ethereum. Those days might be over. They might be over. That's just why I say it might be over. I don't think we're going to be dropping that low, but we could be establishing some baselines right now in terms of how low we could be coming after our historical run. So as of right now, looking both, I think we're sitting like a coiled up snake in a corner. As the enemy comes closer, we're letting them know, hey, we're going to bite you. We're a rattlesnake. We're gonna bite you. But and things keep getting closer. So I think we're ultimately, as we know, as we get towards the winter months and things continue to get towards the new year, we know things get pretty crazy. So let's just keep sticking to the game plan, buckle up, and I think we should definitely be okay. So, but the rest of this month, I could definitely see us just chilling and kicking it, and just see how we go as we continue to let things unfold. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today, guys. I really appreciate it. I know today was a little bit wasn't too long, close at 27, but I will see you guys on Thursday.